Did your ears prick when you heard this is a full tutorial on how to make a basic no-sew junk journal? I first saw this technique used by Kelly from 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲 here on YouTube, and I was inspired to give it a go myself. I also saw Amidy Bloom's version, and let me tell you, Nazzy has one of the most adorable styles you'll see on YouTube today. All tutorials evolve, and mine starts off showing you how to make this basic cover and the pages. And once you've seen how I've made my version, you can make it your own. You can make it thicker, and you can create a more elaborate style cover. So let's get started. Because we're going basic, you pretty much only need paper. You need some cardboard for your cover. You need a pretty paper to cover the cardboard and some glue. You need some scrap papers for your hinges, or you can use my download here. The download is easy. They're designed to be just torn off or cut and folded to make the hinges. You need some paper for your pages. You can use book pages. You can have single pages or pages with one full page and a short page, or you can have full papers folded in half, and you can have magazine papers. I'm going to start by showing you how to make a basic cover using just a grey board or a book board, and I'm not going to make this journal any bigger than a A4 piece of paper folded in half. You can make it whatever size you like. So here are the measurements for you in case you want to make it the same size as me. So we're going to have our cardboard. Whatever cardboard you're using, it does not matter. So once you've cut out your front and your back, you don't need a spine, and we're going to cover it with some pretty paper. This one I'm using here is a light cardstock. I'm cutting it out with the width of my ruler as a border around the size of my cover. And that's about 1 inch. And you need to do this on the wrong side. Do not do it on your pretty paper side. So just mark a 1 inch border around all 4 sides of your front and back cover. Now we've done this, we're going to put the glue on the inside area where your pencil marks are. Now put your book board smack bang inside those pencil lines, and do the same on your back. Now I use a miter corner jig. I've got a video on how to make this corner jig. It just makes your job a lot easier. You just put it across the corner and draw your pencil line there. So what this does is when you cut the corners off, you have enough paper there to hide the corners, but you get rid of all that bulk of paper. You've got to mark these on both the front and the back, and then just cut straight across these lines on both the front and the back. Now just pick up your cover and use your table to fold the edge over the cardboard. My cardboard's a little bit thick, yours might not be this thick, so if you can't do it on the table, just use your fingers and crease it over the edge so that you get a nice sharp crease. And all we're doing here is pre-folding. Now we're going to come in with some glue, put it around the corner and right down close to the book board, and then come out onto the flap around close to the edge but not right on the edge, and then just cover that flap and fold it over and press it down onto your book board. Use your bone folder. If you haven't got a bone folder, do yourself a favour and get one. They are so good. Turn it around and do the same on the other end. Fold that over and smooth it down so you've got a sharp edge. See this little triangle here? I'm going to pinch it with my fingernail and fold it till it forms a tiny little triangle, and then I'm going to pinch it again on the other end until that little piece of cardboard folds over the corner. When I press it down with my bone folder, sorry you can't see here, but I'm going to press it down with my bone folder so that it's completely covering the corner. I'm going to put some glue right along the edge of the book board and then up on the flap again. When I pull this over and lay it on my book board, it's automatically going to cover the corner here. You watch this. See that? It just covers the corner. So just take your time to do this. If you cut your corners using the miter jig, this is going to work out for you every time. Do yourself a favor and make a corner jig. It will help you a lot. But you've got to have this little bit of extra paper hanging over the corners here for this to work. Pinch it here, form this triangle on both ends before you try and fold the flap over. So just pinch it there. Use your bone folder if you need to, so that you form this tiny, tiny little triangle. Then when you fold it over, it automatically covers the corner. And then press down your flap. If you get a knuckly little corner, you can use your bone folder to reshape it. Just get it and push it either side until you get the shaped corner that you want. Now go ahead and do your second piece. That's the outside of the cover done. Now we're going to cover the inside. This is called a mat. So I've already done one piece, and the second piece I'll just quickly do. It's so easy. You just cut a piece. You can make it a little bit smaller than your cover, just so you can see a tiny little bit of the edge. It just looks pretty. You can make it the same size if you prefer. Put a bit of glue on it and then just stick it down so that it's nice and even all the way around. And just press it down with your bone folder. That distributes the glue so that it's not glumpy in any one spot. And what I always do is go and put this in my press so it's nice and flat. For the next step, we're going to prepare the pages and the hinges. These hinges here are the ones from my free download sheet. There are 5 different hinges for you to use. You can also use washi tape or just plain book pages or scrap paper. To help me get the page size right, I always like to make a template. Now, even though this says cover template, I have made a cover template because I just want to make my pages smaller than my cover. The first part of the pages are going to be 2 single pieces of paper. I'm going to butt them together and join them together with a piece of washi tape. Yeah, I know, I put it on crooked, but I don't care. I'm going to soldier on. And you'll notice here that I'm not putting washi on the opposite side. When you pick this up, it's a bit sticky on the opposite side, but you don't have to worry about it because later on when we put the pages together, it's going to get fixed up. For this larger piece of single paper, normally you would fold it this way, but I like it this way because I can use the lines to journal on. So I'm going to bring my cover template in and make sure that I tear it out smaller than my cover. And then I'm going to find another piece and tear it out to be the same size as this piece. To join these 2 single pieces of paper, I'm going to make my hinge out of a piece of Daphne's Diary magazine paper. So just cut it out the same height as your pages. I reckon this is about 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches wide hinge. Always fold your hinge in half first because this way you glue it on the right way every time. For gluing, I like to fold my hinge in half and glue one side first. And when you glue your hinge onto your page, make sure your fold line is facing the right. Just got to remember that your fold line goes towards the center. Now with that hinge glued in place, put some more glue on the opposite side of the hinge and then lay your page over the top of that hinge, right on that fold line. There we go. And see how close these pages are together when you do it this way? And now we've got two pages joined, one with washi and one with paper. I've got another single book page here, and this time I'm going to use my hinge sheet, and I'll show you how easy it is to use. I've got lines on this one, but yours won't have these lines. You can tear or cut whichever one you want to use. I'm just going to use these pink flowers. So you tear it off the width that you want it. So I've just torn off my flowers. Now I'm going to resize my bird page. I've glued my hinge onto my bird page. Now I'm going to use a recipe page for the opposite side. I've sized it and glued it onto the hinge on the other side, and that's it. I've got another page. Now this one here, I'm going to show you how to make a different hinge altogether. I'm tearing it down one side, doesn't matter which side you tear it down, and then I'm going to cut a straight line on the opposite side, and I'm going to use a decorative punch all the way down the opposite side. Now I'm going to fold it and make it a hinge, but I'm going to fold it with the torn side short and the punch side a lot wider. I've put the glue on my punch side and the fold edge right on the edge of my single book page. Well, actually, this is a page out of the Daphne's Diary. On the opposite side of the page, I've just glued a blank tea-dyed piece of paper. Now this one, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use a page that's got a very short side only on one side. I'm going to use this fake receipt, and I'm going to use it like a flip out. I'm going to glue the receipt on the short side of the page, so it's going to be my hinge. Once I've glued that down, it extends the short side of the page, and because I've already put a fold in it, it's now my flip out. And I'll just finish off by putting a bit of glue on the edge of this page here, because I wasn't sure where it was going to finish when I glued it down. So I can journal on the blank side, and I can journal in the areas that's got nothing written on the receipt. This receipt I'll be putting in one of my videos in the future. So now we're going to join these pages together to form a signature. This is where the no sew, no hand sewing comes in. We're going to use exactly the same method we did to just join the single pages. We're using washi tape and paper hinges. Pick out 2 pages and lay them on the table with the folds sitting next to each other. So the folds are in the center next to my left hand here. Then get a hinge. I'm going to use a paper hinge first. Cut it off so it's the same height as your paper pages. Put the glue down one side of the hinge and lay the fold of the hinge on the fold of the left hand page. I always smooth down using my bone folder. Then open the hinge, just make sure it's been glued down on the right way. Then put the glue on the top side of the hinge and lift up your page that's to be on the right hand side. It's much easier this way to line it up, and just lay it down on top of the glue. So just line it up so that they're parallel with each other. So here's your first 2 pages joined together. No sewing, just glue and paper hinges. And this is what you need to do going forward. You just continue on and you just keep on gluing them together. Remember when I put the washi tape on this piece, it was sticky on the opposite side? This is why I said you do not need to cover the opposite side at that time, because we're doing it now. So I'm putting glue on the hinge of the build-up page on the left, and now I'm laying the sticky side of the single page on that hinge. When I glue this down, that's going to take care of the raw side of that single page. You see how I'm building up the spine here? All of these pages that are being glued together are building my spine, and the hinges, whether it be washi tape or paper, are gluing and joining everything together. So now on the opposite side of this page, I'm going to cover it with a brand new hinge and then attach another single page on top of the other side of the hinge. You can continue on adding one page at a time to this group of signatures, or you can go back and use your pre-joined pages like I did in the beginning. You can do it either way. Now I suppose you want to see the page that I made the hinge using the tear on one side and the punch on the other. This is it here. And you can also see that each time I add a page to the back of my signature, it's building up the spine. The spine is getting thicker and thicker. And I was going to put this page at the back, but it turned out so pretty, I'm going to change my mind and add it to the front. So just know you can do this as well. You can add your pages at the back or the front. The method works perfectly both ways. Go ahead and change your mind as you're building your signature. I think it looks much prettier at the front. So here's the pages that I've done so far. A couple of them you might not have seen me do. I'm going to join the covers to the pages using the same technique as we joined the pages to each other. I'm going to put a hinge between the back cover here and the pages. For this one, I've got a piece of the lovely fabric tape from Tim Holtz. It's not that wide. It's roughly 1 inch wide. You don't need anything over the top because we're going to also cover the outside of the spine. So I'm just going to stick this down. I forgot to add some extra glue to the pages here, but I will put some glue on my cover. Any washi tape or any other sticky fabric tape that you use, it's always a good idea to add a bit of extra glue. So I'm just going to butt these together. And what I'm also going to do is when I press this down, I'm going to leave it dry flat for a little while before I close it together. Now the back's dry, I'm going to move on to the front and do exactly the same method. Just lay your pages to the right and your cover to the left. Whatever hinge you're using, I'm using paper, using the same method as I joined the pages. You can use a strip of fabric here if you want. And I'm just going to lay my cover right on top. And this time it's easy because I can pat it down on the table and use the back cover to line up my front cover. I'm going to make sure the spine area is the part that I totally line up. And then I'll just press down the inside of my hinge and I'm just going to put a little weight on it for a little while. Doesn't need long because I'm just using the paper glue. Now I've left that to dry and you can see now how the pages form the spine. And when you open it up, it lays perfectly flat. You can certainly keep your journal like this if you want to, And if you do, you don't need to do anything more. But if you want to decorate your cover and cover this part of the spine, I'll show you how to do that now. We're going to add a decorative finish that goes from the front of the cover, wraps around the spine and finishes at the back. The objective is to keep the fullness at both the spine and the edge of the pages here. And that's so we can fill these pages up with ephemera and it not be too gator mouth. I've put 20 pages in this journal. It's only an itty bitty baby one, but there's still plenty of room to have a lot of fun creating and journaling in this junk journal. I'm going to use this lace here. This is it's more like a handmade crochet, but you could use this one. It's an old doily that I've been cutting up over time. You could use a fabric doily, and this is the topper I'm putting on the front. This piece is from 1920s, so it's going to look fabulous glued on. Now the way I'm going to attach this to my journal is I'm only going to glue at the front and the back. I'm not adding any glue to the spine because I want it to remain free. I'm just going to cut this off. I know it's going to fray and I'm going to put the frayed bit at the top. So I'm going to start by using my Helma fabric glue. When I put my glue down, I'm just going to run one bead of glue behind every filled in bit of this crocheted piece. I'm going to do that at the front and the back. I'll fast forward this bit because otherwise I'll be here all day. Right, now that's done, and see how it's allowing it to lay flat now because we didn't put any glue in the spine area. And all the pages lay nice and flat when you open them up as well. Makes it perfect for journaling in. What I'm going to do now is finish it off. I'm going to use some of this sari silk. I'm going to do the same method. I'm going to wrap it around the spine, but I'm only going to put glue on the front and the back. I'm not going to add any glue to the spine area. So I've glued the front pieces down first. I'm going to trim it back to how long I want it. Put a bit more glue on the back pieces and glue them down. Because I've already pre-made my topper, I'm adding glue to the back of it and I'm just gluing that in place. Well, decorating the cover was pretty easy because of my pre-made topper. And using lace always makes your journal finish off beautifully. But if you haven't got any lace, you can use a piece of fabric instead.